So this video is to address some of the questions that have come up in regards to our recent video about our Tesla Powerwalls failing. About 1 in every 5 comments mentioned, why don't you have UPS devices for all of your tech, given your work in IT? Now, unfortunately, when I was originally sold this, it was described as being more reliable than the grid. Here in Adelaide, I find I very, very rarely have outages, and if I do, it's due to planned maintenance. So whilst I do have UPSs for some of my most critical devices, I don't have them for everything. So this Powerwall setup is actually mostly powering a business premise. We've got 3D printers, we have about 15 computers, hard drives, servers, and I will have UPSs on our server line, and I'll have UPSs on our network infrastructure. In the comments, some people thought that if I could afford such a crazy sized Powerwall installation, then perhaps I should just simply be able to buy out additional UPSs. Unfortunately, the reality of the fact is that this whole solar setup was actually heavily supported by the local government. We have great initiatives here to provide you government-backed solar loans at a low interest rate to essentially minimize your electrical consumption at your premise. So you'll go through like an evaluation process, you'll work out if it's viable, and you'll implement the solar installation to offset your costs. Now, in this particular instance, I wouldn't just simply be able to have extended that loan to get UPSs, because that wasn't something that was considered through any part of the process as being required. It was never expected that the whole system would just randomly fail frequently enough that when you have 10 Powerwalls, it'll say go off every single day. That wasn't something that was ever instructed as being a possibility, so it wasn't even on the forefront of anyone's mind. If anything, it was boasted to be a super reliable system that would never ever go offline. It would only ever go offline if I drained it to zero. So in the very beginning of the project, I'd set up a whole bunch of home automation systems that would read the battery capacity and would automatically turn off devices, send shutdown signals to PCs, ensure that air cons couldn't be turned on, a whole bunch of parameters and safety nets on my side to make sure that we didn't drain them to zero, because obviously we don't want all of our devices to just randomly have a power out. And in this instance, unfortunately, yes, I will say we were sold, I can't say a promise, this is more so hearsay, things that were said in phone calls, not necessarily stipulated in documents, that it would never fail. However, there's no literature online from Tesla implying that your Powerwalls will go off under any condition other than them going to 0%. And similarly, if they were faulty, that's the only other reason for them to go off. Now, I do have another meeting this week with Tesla. We're going to go over the whole installation, where we're going to go from here. And some of the comments also mentioned, why didn't you get the mega power packs? I was never offered that, and perhaps it's going to be a discussion this week. We'll see what comes of it. I'll provide an update next week.